This is another episode of Dangerous Ideas. My name is Shawn Kanungo. I'm an innovation strategist. What we do is we break down concepts and frameworks that will change your life. Oh, wow. All right, this is a special episode of Dangerous Ideas. This is a YouTube-only podcast. And we are here at the Meyer Horowitz Theater in Edmonton, Alberta. This is where we do all our virtual productions. We just finished one. And what I thought I would do is I got a whole bunch of questions from my keynote recently that I did in Athens last week that I was not able to answer on stage. And so I thought that I would not only send this to the client afterwards, but I thought it would just be a really good idea to turn this into a podcast. So I got the questions right here. So let's start with the first one. Which jobs will be relevant in an AI world? Which jobs will be relevant in an AI world? This is a great question because I have no idea. AI is moving at an exponential pace. It is almost, if you think about any knowledge worker job, it is almost disrupting every single job. I believe that when it comes to lawyers, accountants, doctors, producers, designers, developers, coders, AI is doing an incredible job at speeding that up. And I believe that at some point, if you think about the existing tasks that all of those jobs do, I think that it could probably take, I'm not even gonna lie to you, I think it probably take 50 to 60% of those existing tasks. And I think the political answer is to say that it is going to help people get better. It's going to help people get faster and more productive. The reality is that, yeah, there are going to be some jobs that are going to be eliminated. Jobs that are redundant, mediocre, manual, they're going to get eliminated. So if you're in a job like that today, that is boring, that is redundant, that's mediocre, you should look for something else. Because your job is to figure out how AI is going to take your job. I think that is everyone's job today, is to figure out how AI is going to take your job. Now, in the near future, I think trades, by the way, is going to be an incredible skill set. Plumbing, HVAC, heavy duty mechanics, like these jobs are going to be incredible because at this point, robotics, I don't think in the next 5-10 years that it's going to be able to do that yet. It probably will be able to assist, but it's not going to be able to do that yet. But I think the jobs that, I actually think that there's going to be an explosion of jobs. There's going to be an explosion of industries. So Clayton Christensen, the innovator, the great godfather of disruptive innovation, came up with this theory called jobs to be done. It's the idea that every single innovation basically solves a job. Like you go to McDonald's, you hire a milkshake to fill you up, to help you on long road trips. You go to the coffee shop, you hire a coffee to give you a wake-up call. You come to a theater, you hire a theater to create incredible productions. So every solution is basically solving a job. And I think what AI is ultimately doing, it's actually creating more jobs. It's actually fragmenting every job into mini jobs. And so I think if you look at these big, for example, software as a service companies like Salesforce and Workday and Oracle and SAP, they're these large databases that are essentially doing many jobs for organizations. And I think what you're going to see is you're going to see more software companies come up that actually do some of those jobs incredibly well, incredibly defined. And I just think that there's going to be more jobs. I mean, think about creators. Like, I think that there's going to be a creator for every single niche. You're going to have a creator for woodworking. You're going to have a creator for luxury woodworking. You're going to have a creator for toy woodworking. Like, a creator can have a job in a niche field. And I think because of the fragmentation of media, because AI is going to become so ubiquitous and everyone will be able to create personalized software, like, you're going to be able to create software, you're going to be able to create content for very niche audiences and actually make money. And I think this is going to create fundamentally new industries that we haven't seen before. So I think the most relevant job is to just pay attention, taste understanding patterns. This will always remain in the fields of humans. Innovate, creativity, imagination. Yeah, the AI can help us, but I think that will still be super relevant for humans. So let's get to the next one. Is education still relevant in an AI world? Is education still relevant in an AI world? So I just really recently saw this article that just came out yesterday where it said that Harvard grads and actually other grads from Ivy institutions are having a difficult time finding jobs. I saw a tweet from Paul Graham who said that this is actually a trend that is going to be not stopping, and actually the pendulum is not going to swing back, meaning the idea that Harvard MBAs are going to have a difficult time finding jobs is going to be an unstoppable trend. And I think part of the reason is because we are moving from knowledge to capabilities, meaning I don't care what you know, I care about what you can do. I care about what you can bring. I care about what kind of questions you can bring. And to be honest with you, this is a lot more about like skill sets as opposed to knowledge, because my belief is that knowledge is no longer power. And these great institutions have done an amazing job at pumping great knowledge into their students. I mean, that's where we all went to school. We got great knowledge from these institutions. But now that everyone on the planet has an AI co-pilot beside them, I don't think that knowledge is as important. And what's going to be more important is skills and capabilities. I mean, more specifically, by the way, when it comes to MBAs, a lot of MBAs will come out of school and they will get strategy jobs within industry, within consulting, within iBanking, and really strategy is becoming commoditized. How do I know this? I literally spent a decade in strategy, and that was my job. And strategy is getting basically cut up into different pieces. Can you sell? Can you build? Can you enable? Again, it's not about the knowledge, it's about those individual skill sets. Like, to be honest with you, I would rather hire somebody out of high school that is a ninja when it comes to some of these AI tools than somebody that just spent 4 years at an MBA. I'm being totally honest with you. It's interesting, when I was at Deloitte, we would hire MBAs and then we would hire new grads, and I would often I'd actually often hire the new grad versus the MBA for almost the same job, because many of the new grads had more hunger. And to be honest with you, I think that's the number one skill set moving forward, is hunger. Now, when it comes to my kids, who are a little bit younger, my oldest is 8, I got 8, 5, and 1, I think education is still going to be important in terms of getting my kids to understand how to solve problems, to work in a team, to build those interpersonal skills. I think school is still incredibly relevant, because where else do you get to like hang out with people and learn how to make a friend, learn how to build those interpersonal relationships? So it's funny, because way back in the day, I thought university would be increasingly more irrelevant because of the education system and the fact that the world is moving very quickly, and AI would essentially disrupt many jobs. But I actually now think that institutions are more valuable, not for the knowledge, but more so around the networks and the skills. So if I am an institution like a Harvard, I would focus on how do we develop ninjas that know specific skill sets so that they can go in the workforce and be valuable right away. That's what I would say. And I think this is a fundamental shift around how we look at institutions. So let's get to the next one. What is a defensive moat? So what is a defensive moat in AI? What is a defensive moat in AI? So a moat, by the way, a moat is, back in the day, they used to have castles, and they used to create these waterways that were called moats. It was a defense mechanism. And it was the way for attackers not to come into the castle. A moat is a strategic advantage that every organization has. And in a world that is increasingly more commoditized because of AI, what is a moat? Increasingly, I think that there's less moats in the world. Technology is no longer a moat, unless you are working on something that's, incredibly complex, like quantum computing. I think that could be a moat. Even the large language models, it's not even a moat now, because you have all these companies that are coming out, OpenAI, Meta AI, Anthropic, Google, Gemini, like they've all created their own LLMs. It's like once somebody invented this thing, it like the genie's out of the bottle. So everyone has access to it. And so what is a moat today? I think the best moat in the world today, at the end of the day, is brand. Brand, trust, authenticity. To me, this is the strongest moat that you can have, because you can't replace uniqueness. You can't replace something that's truly authentic, because it's truly a one of one. And so that's why I believe, it's funny because the one question that I did answer in the Q&A in Athens was this idea that somebody asked me, what is your most counterintuitive prediction over the next 10 years? And I said that the next set of entrepreneurs and founders will be creators, because they're building authenticity, they're building brand and affinity with their audience, and that's something that you cannot change. And so I actually think that's an incredible moat. That's probably the only moat that's out there. So I think the advice for brands, for individuals, for professionals, is to lean into your authenticity, because right now that's the only moat, and just continue to stay relevant, because the cycles of disruption will get even faster. All right, somebody asked, what is an AI agent? What is an AI agent? So an AI agent, if I didn't explain it in the keynote, the AI agent is a piece of software that can mimic humans. It's like a digital human. It can autonomously make decisions. It can get stuff done. It's like democratizing action. That's what an agent is. And if you think about what every leader is talking about when it comes to software around this agentic revolution, they're basically talking about software that can make decisions for us. And my belief is that there's going to be more agents within organizations than people. You actually might even have more agents on the planet than actually humans. And every single person is going to have multiple agents. And by the way, we're going to have agents talking to each other. Like I'm going to have my own travel agent, like a digital travel agent that might talk to my calendar agent, that might talk to my, my chief of staff agent. And so you're going to have more and more agents that can do stuff. Now, maybe you'll have super agents that can do many of those tasks, but it's just the idea of software getting things done. And I think the reason why this is so exciting is because, again, for the first time in human history, AI is truly like getting things done. I think, the promise with Siri and like Alexa and all these things, we thought with all these assistants that they could go off and like book travel for us, or they can go off and like get something done for us, when really they could just like tell us the time, okay? They really didn't fulfill their job. So we all have been waiting to figure out what this can do. And I think this has been the gateway drug to seeing what the future is going to look like, where an AI agent can actually get stuff done for us. And I'm excited. And I think you're going to see more vertical AI agents, meaning agents that are trained with very specific pieces of knowledge, not just like a general LLM, but very specific pieces of knowledge that's based on specific data that can get stuff done. Specific data meaning maybe you have an agent that is trained on my dialogues, my conversations, my calendar, and now can understand what I'm doing as an individual. Also, if you're like working for a company, it's an agent that actually understands your documents. It understands everything about that company that's unique data, that takes all the transcribes of all the Zoom meetings and all the conversations that you're having that actually is intelligent. And I think that's a game changer. The biggest barrier, the biggest disadvantage to most organizations is that information is siloed. And there are different departments, there are different groups. And I think agents are going to be a great way of really, truly building an intelligent organization. Okay, so the next piece is, what is RAG? So I did mention RAG in my keynote. So this is what RAG is. RAG is retrieval augmented generation. What this essentially means is a source documents that the AI can pull from, and then you have a traditional LLM that can enhance that existing information. So it can basically take unique data from your source documents, and then you have an LLM that retrieves the data from those source documents in order to prevent hallucinations, in order to improve accuracies when it comes to your data. Because I think one of the biggest downfalls when it comes to this generative AI revolution is that generative AI is not deterministic, meaning when you ask it something, it's essentially creating a remix. It's creating an output based on what it thinks the next word is going to be. But once you have RAG, once you have a retrieval augmented generation workflow, you can essentially take data that is existing within your own sort of, servers or wherever it might be, your own documents, and then and the LLM will be able to pull from that, which I think is incredibly beneficial, because I think a lot of people don't trust the LLMs right now because they think that it's hallucinating, and this is going to eliminate the hallucinations. And I think this is great. A lot of people are working on this. This invention, by the way, was created pre-ChatGPT. It was actually created by the Meta AI researchers. And so look, RAG was created by Meta AI. You had the Transformers, the original GPT. That innovation was actually developed by Google. And by the way, OpenAI was the company that really innovated on that and created ChatGPT. So all these different companies, OpenAI, Meta, Google, they've all kind of worked together. And this is why I go back to this idea of like, there is no moat. They're all like stealing from each other, and they're creating innovations. And what a time to be alive. Amazing. Okay, let's keep on going. Okay, so the other question was, is pre-training over? So pre-training is essentially like, other than the data collection piece, when it comes to building a large language model, pre-training is the process in which you are sort of ingesting and understanding and taking a look at all the data and finding patterns in that particular data. It is beyond the data collection piece. It is like literally like the foundational element when it comes to building these LLMs, other than like having knowledge that's actually out there. So in a recent interview, Ilya Sutskever, I can never get that right. He's like one of the prominent figures when it comes to deep learning. He basically said that pre-training is over, meaning like we've exhausted all the information on the internet, and all these LLMs will essentially like look the same because there is no more information to grab. Like they've literally grabbed all the information, which is a really interesting like phenomenon. Like what? You've grabbed all the information around the world? I actually don't believe that. I believe actually there's an incredible treasure trove of information that's still not in like on the internet. Like I bet we can go through like ancient textbooks, and we still have not like transcribed every ancient textbook. I believe that the greatest treasure trove is actually in our phone, which we haven't. Like all the conversations, all the text messages, all the emails, like that is like a treasure trove of information that we still don't have yet. And guess what? That's why Google has an advantage. So is pre-training over? I just don't think so. I think there's going to be always new data as well. And so I think that's going to be interesting. Okay. I think that's it, by the way, in terms of all the questions. I don't know, we can get to some fun questions, by the way. So maybe some fun questions very quickly. We have 2 minutes. So in Canada, we live in Canada, we have the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, has stepped down. He has stepped down, and the Liberal Party is looking for a new Prime Minister, a new candidate. And there's a bunch of people that might take the helm of the Liberal Party. To be honest with you, I don't think anybody of those people are going to win. I think, fortunately or unfortunately, wherever you side, Pierre Poilievre seems like he's probably going to win. But I don't sit on any side. Okay, I'm not a liberal. I'm not a PC. I'm not an MDP. Okay, I'm literally like I'm an alien. Okay, I think the only person that can beat Trudeau, and I think it would be a great move. Guys, you guys know what I'm talking about?
Drake.
Drake. Drake. This would be a great move. This would be a great move, okay? Listen, I will admit, the guys, I'm looking at the bad films behind me, Mo and Mazen, they know that I was on, they thought that I was on Drake's side the entire time between the Drake and Kendrick beef, but Drake lost. He did lose. But imagine he becomes the prime minister. Imagine he becomes the prime minister of Canada. That's the only guy that can beat Pierre Poilievre, okay? Actually, I saw on TikTok, I think.
Or Wayne Gretzky, according to...
Gretzky, I think Gretzky could. Gretzky could have a chance, actually. The great one, yeah, definitely Gretzky. Maybe SGA, Shea Gilgeous Alexander from the NBA. I mean, I don't know. I'm just naming celebrities. But I think that's good. So listen, TikTok. TikTok is over. TikTok is over. It is done in the United States. I think Canada is going to follow suit as well. And it's going to be really interesting to see what happens after that. There's a platform that's been coming out called Red Note. I downloaded it. I do not understand it. I don't think it's going to be that relevant. And by the way, this thing is going to get booted too out of the US and out of Canada as well. I believe that TikTok is going to be, it's going to be gone. And guess what? People are going to find new ways of doing things. They're going to go on Instagram. They're going to YouTube Shorts. They're going to find new ways. The thing with us, we're amazing as human beings. Our attention just gets filled up with something at the end of the day. But I just think that, it was a great run. We had a great run. Especially during the pandemic. It was awesome. Just like Vine, it had an era. And so now TikTok is over and there's going to be something else. So I'm excited. And what else? Any other hot topics? I think that's good.
Mr. Beast might buy TikTok.
Mr. Beast. That's, by the way, a very savvy move that I've noticed that a lot of people say. All you have to say is that I'm going to buy TikTok and then you'll get headlines. Mr. Beast, like Kevin O'Leary, he doesn't have the money to buy TikTok. Elon said he's going to buy TikTok. He's not going to buy TikTok. He obviously has the money to buy TikTok, and it would be amazing to bring Vine back. I would buy TikTok and rebrand it as Vine. Vine was incredible. It created some of the best stars. Logan Paul, King Batch. All these people came from Vine. They became superstars out of it. I think if we bring Vine back, that would be a huge win. Anyways, thank you guys so much for this another episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Got deep dive on some AI topics. And we'll see you guys on the next one.